Hey people, welcome back to another edition of the Jagged Edge. This is Ian here along with Chris.
What's up?
Hey,
Welcome again. I missed you. Let's all sit down and have a little bit of a conversation about today's entertainment and in movies and TV and video games. Let's sit back and let's talk about a few things.
only if you promise to bring the s'mores. Because,
None for you, sir.
man, a campfire, we don't even... okay, fine.
No, I'll have some, but you can't.
Alright.
You know why? Because I'm going to ask you something I already know the answer.
I should, about that. The funny part about that is I'm looking at it. Literally, I'm looking at it. I have the box right here. It's in front of me.
Is the wrapper still on it?
No, it's off.
Okay.
To be honest. That's progress. And you know that's progress. I mean, you might as well call me like Rogue 300 by this point, because I haven't watched it.
I was going to say, is progress is next week going to be like, it's in the DVD player now. I haven't played it yet.
Baby
and
steps.
Next week I'm going to go buy the popcorn.
Baby steps.
Jesus.
But,
Rogue 2's going to be out before you watch this thing.
tell you what, might be Alien Covenant might be out before I watch this.
Yeah, that's next week.
Boy, we've
No prelude to that.
No, none at all. I'm just dropping that. No, this is one we've been talking about for a couple of shows now. Long time. Both of us go back being Alien fans.
Oh yeah.
Say what you will about Prometheus as well. That's our last installment to the series. And there's a lot of complaint. A number of people had a backlash about the lack of xenomorphs, even excluding that ending that really hints at, well, this is it. This was the beginning of all this. This is how this stuff happens. It's where he's come from. For me, that was enough. Frankly, I actually enjoyed Prometheus. I know Ridley Scott was a little hesitant, I think, the direction to go after that movie, following up with that. And, obviously, bringing this far more xenomorphs into the equation instantly gives that Alien brand recognition. But this is going to be a really interesting entry, especially with something we were talking about a bit beforehand here, right before we started up, the prologue for this that got released a couple weeks back. And it's billed as the Alien Covenant prologue that ties in with the end of Prometheus. If you recall, at the very end of that, David, who at this point was pretty much just ahead, he got repaired, and he embarks on a long journey with our one surviving protagonist, and together they're, going to look for the rest of the answers, the engineers, the homeworld, everything else from there, and we get a glimpse of that here.
Interesting.
What'd you think?
Well, that was interesting. Yeah, you showed that to me. I had missed that. I was glad that you showed that to me. Wasn't she the one that beheaded him?
No, years. He was beheaded by the engineers themselves.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, but she was pretty pissed at him. I remember that because he's basically the reason that the infection started.
Exactly.
Specifically with her husband, it was her husband or boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah, so kind of a dick move. But she still puts his head back on his body, or I'm assuming that's his body. I think it is.
Right.
So that was interesting because you see the you see the trailers prior, and you're like, well, what's he doing? He was ahead in a basket, or not a basket, but a bag.
Right.
And there is, and a lot of people thought, well, it's like a projection. It's like a mental or digital projection of himself. It's not actually him.
Right.
But it looks like that's going to actually be him. He gets a body back. Very interesting. I think the funny thing about it is that it looks very disjointed from the movie that we're getting.
Yeah.
But it does feel like it belongs with Prometheus. Now, I understand some people's complaints about Prometheus. I thought it was a good film. I enjoyed it. It does feel too far away, I think, from the Alien trilogy, or not Alien trilogy, but the 4 Alien movies before.
Right.
It feels a bit far away from it. I think a little bit too much. I can understand why some people didn't like that. I also don't think it told the best story.
Right.
But yeah, I actually didn't think we were going to get any more. They had planned for this trilogy, this prequel trilogy for Alien, and I didn't think we were going to get the other two because the other
Right.
one got such bad reviews. Which actually I think a lot of people look at now, and they see that it's not as bad as a lot of people said. I mean, that was a lot to follow up. It had been years since the
Yeah.
last Alien movie, and people really wanted another really good Alien movie. You can't count the Alien versus Predator ones,
Doesn't
which
count.
yeah, they're their own fun, but they're not canon, at least not in this universe. I don't believe so. It looks good. I'm looking forward to this. It looks like we're getting back to the horror of the Alien movies,
Yep.
which is where it's meant at its best. Yeah, looking forward to watching a lot of people get eaten by aliens, and not chest bursting, but back bursting, and
Oh,
a lot of
that looked
scares.
vicious.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So no, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm predicting it right now. Everyone's going to like this one.
Yeah, it's definitely shaping up to be that. Uh, looking into it as well, when you think of the Alien series as a whole, you have to ask, where do these movies go after a while? You had, besides AVP and all the different spin-offs, and then the different iterations of Ripley being cloned, and those stories they're in. We kind of spun into this saga of cloning Ripley and everything else besides that in the space heart, and more of, for lack of better terms, Metroid. That was always what I was feeling. I always had this characterization of Ripley. I always kind of imagined Samus. I'm like, kind of what she seems like now. I mean, this is who we're looking to each film to do the main majority of the butt kicking, especially with the alien DNA she has influence in her. Later on, and she
Right.
gains super
What did you
strength.
think of that fourth one?
You know, uh, I can't say I enjoyed it as much as the first few. Alien One, the original trilogy, is definitely my favorite by far.
Oh, the
Two,
first one is?
yeah, I really really like the first
Oh,
one.
okay. All right. I mean, it's good, but most people like it, and I'm one of the other people that enjoys Aliens more than the others.
I can see that. Aliens.
Game over, man.
The Aliens had a lot of good, really good coining moments.
It was groundbreaking.
Yeah,
I mean, it helped define modern day sci-fi.
it did, and even going off of that, I mean, we still see its influence. I think not just part of the horror genre, but sci-fi horror and the way just a lot of these crazy scenes are set up. Even it's interesting too what Alien's done even for gaming. I don't know if you had a chance to play Alien Resurrection. It's on PS4, Xbone, a couple others.
Yeah,
PC.
the Alien games generally have not been very good.
Now this one was pretty solid though. It borrows a page more from Alien 1 than 2. But Ripley's long estranged daughter that she speaks about, actually she's become an engineer, works on colony ships, and she gains wind of her mother's expedition.
I heard about it. This just came out in the last couple
Yeah,
of years, right?
it's pretty recent. She hears that her mother's expedition might be ill-fated, and so she sets out to go find out the truth of what happened. And of course, she plunges headfirst into a real mess herself. I not gonna lie, I didn't play this myself. I did watch a very good playthrough of this, though no commentary or anything, just to watch. Oh my god, I wasn't even playing, and that had some good jump moments, man. But
Right.
it keeps the environment and the pace really well. And relating this back to our topic, I'm really feeling a lot of those first few Alien movies here. So this seems, after all these years of clone stories and spin-offs and everything else, we're really getting back to the roots. We're going to get something solid in the books.
You didn't you didn't end long, or you didn't take long enough there. I was trying to look up the name of this game while you were talking.
Oh, I didn't stall long enough. Ain't that something?
I didn't tell you I was doing it.
That's fair. Here, the other question, we real fast. We talked a little bit about the prologue, what we've seen for the mainline trailers. The big thing I'm wondering going in and watching this movie is
Alien Isolation.
Thank you. Good correction. Good correction. I feel
Yes.
terrible if I got that wrong.
Made by Sega.
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to knock them for this. All the mistakes Sega have made over recent years, I'll give this one a pass. This one was worthy.
This came out for a lot of things, actually. They made sure it came out for Linux. That's interesting. You can play
Gotta
it on
play it there.
Windows, OS X, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One. Came out about 3.5 years ago.
Good catch. And my bad on that name, but again, if you have not played it, if you like the survival horror genre, sci-fi, you just like Alien in general, highly recommend it. Real slick game.
Amanda Ripley, that was her name.
Here we go.
And I don't know how it ends, so don't tell me.
I won't. It was good. It was real
Is
good.
it is it considered canon?
I, from what I had seen, yes. You know, I'm not. There was, if I recall, there was nothing else hinting at that branching again into something else. I think it's a good standalone. I don't think it even needs to. It was strong enough by itself. I'm fine with that. But but yeah, but no. Speaking of our protagonist, is what I'm wondering is Elizabeth Shaw and David going to encounter the current crew, the new crew that we run into in Alien Covenant in any way? Are their stories going to cross, or is just part of the prologue story just going to be a big cut and we only see the new crew?
I think she's dead.
Dum dum dum.
I think a lot of time has probably passed.
Yeah.
Now, and this is me showing my lack of knowledge on the actual timeline of the Alien movies and how far behind Covenant was. I think it was quite a ways in the past from the Alien trilogy. But
Yeah.
or again, trilogy, the Alien, the 4 Alien movies prior. So I don't know. But typically these things have had, at least definitely the first 2, Alien and Aliens, had a lot of time in between. I think something like 80 years.
Yeah.
There isn't, as far as I remember, and again, I could be wrong in here too, and I hope somebody corrects me if I am. They don't have like light speed, so space travel takes forever.
I don't recall like warp drive or anything like that.
Right. I think maybe in the last one they did, but hey, so we veered off of that. Overall, what was your feeling of Alien 4? I had a reason I was asking about that.
Yeah. Just as far as like the vibe or what I thought of it.
Yeah,
More.
just as a movie as a whole, compare to it as a sequel if you want, but just as a whole.
I thought it was I felt it was because it was so much more action oriented. It felt like more of a dash overall.
It definitely doesn't have the same feel. I will completely agree with that.
Yeah, more of a dash, not quite as methodical as some of the early ones. That'd be the best way I can describe it.
So you know who made that, right?
Now, who was behind it?
Joss Whedon. His first blockbuster movie.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised. But then as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, all right, that makes a little more sense. You can definitely see an evolution in his actor in his directing career.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't have the same feel as the other ones. I think that's where it fails the most.
Yeah.
And I think Prometheus does, but Prometheus just doesn't tell the story in a way that a lot of people wanted it to.
Right.
Resurrection's okay. I can understand why they stopped at that point. There was definitely some pushback on it. So we're going to get Covenant, and I think we're going to like it. They're setting up for a lot of people in that ship to get destroyed. And come on, I mean that's really that's what it's about.
You know it. It's they're going to make it extra wrenching.
And they're couples.
I was about to say that.
So you're going to get some serious crying.
Absolutely. I was about to say that. When you build that at the beginning, this lovely story of an exhibition to a vacant planet and starting another human habitat. Yeah, good luck with that.
You've already left all your friends and family behind to go with this one significant other, and they're going to get killed by a space alien.
Great.
Love it. Love it. So yeah, but I think I don't remember her name. The lead from Prometheus. She's dead.
Yeah, Shaw. I'm just gonna call it Shaw for short. Elizabeth Shaw.
But that crazy android has kept her skeleton.
He would.
He would. Watch, I'm right on that. Watch.
He would. All right. You made the call here. It's May 11th.
That's right.
Noted.
Okay. All right. So that's that. So I'm gonna pull one of your segues.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
Ready for this?
All right.
Ready? Okay. So talking about a lot of the movies that the great Sigourney Weaver has made. Moving on to something that she's done recently.
And I thought you didn't like when I do this.
Yeah, but I did it better. And that's
No.
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 But,
Copyright infringement. Yeah, filing a lawsuit. Continue.
You've buried it now. Okay. The Defenders trailer came out last week, in the last week or so. Defenders trailer. And that obviously had her in there for a second. And we had talked about how she was going to be the main villain for this miniseries, this 8-episode miniseries. Did you notice that they pushed back the release? This was originally going to come out in June. Now coming out in August.
I did. And hey, my book, whether it's Marvel, Netflix or Roach Universe, they get the pass on that. I'm cool on it.
I'm okay with it too.
Because
you still have a lot of shows to get caught up on.
Oh yeah, hey, I get a chance to get caught up, and then plus, that the level of quality they're aiming to produce these is high. They don't churn these things out just do spinoffs for the sake of doing so.
But yeah, so what did you think?
Yeah, this is we finally have our merging. The one that really made me smile was actually when I was thinking of at first. I said, "Wonder how it's going to be when Iron Fist runs into Luke Cage."
They
for the first time. Yeah, they show that and run through it. And it's a trope we've seen in a lot of different types of media. A group of either ragtag band of superpowered protagonists, or for whatever reason, like they're brought together, but. It's not done in any kind of corny way here. These are all stories that have had their own narratives, that have had their own series to follow. You've been dedicated fans of all those. This is your shot to get your Avengers Game Boy Pocket version. Which
Whoa!
Yeah, I know you were ready for that.
I don't know what that is.
I clearly not. If you can't define that, you might not be ready for this series. I don't know if we can let you watch.
But was that like an actual Game Boy game or something?
No, it wasn't. I'm really just trying to miniaturize this.
I'm too tired.
No.
Chris works too much, people. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, you had a ridiculous day.
Ridiculous month.
Period.
Yeah. But it was cool. And, I think they introduced it well, going from Jessica Jones and then going right into Matt Murdock, seeing Daredevil right after. And you knew that somehow the fact that he's the lawyer is going to play a role in this. I still think he's the one that gets Luke Cage released as well. They didn't show that. That was hilarious though, when he just snaps the cuffs. It's nothing.
Yeah,
you didn't even think of it. Oops. It was hilarious. It was done just as subtly as it needed to be.
Oh man, and I've always respected that. I think at any point when you had a series that have had their chance to grow, characters that have had a chance to grow, you don't have to force their abilities on anybody anymore. We know, we have enough of a backstory by now where we don't have to be fed something so literal about each character every time.
That guy is so freaking huge. He probably doesn't need superpowers to do that.
No, he does. That's the best part, right?
But it does look, it looks fairly legit. The guy's a freaking monster.
He's got to be at least what, 220?
Oh my god, yeah. At least 220 15 years ago. No, seriously, I'm probably thinking 300 pounds, around there, 280 to 300. He's huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's fun. Yeah, and I like the interaction with Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and those two out of the four, those two have. For years they ran in comic together.
Yep.
I think they still do.
Yep. Yeah. The from what I saw, now I'm way out of date on Luke Cage. I don't think I ever saw the formal cap off of the comics. I just remember an assassination attempt. I don't even know if Iron Fist was around in this, but it was in Luke Cage's comic. There was an assassination attempt on him, something around like a New Year's or like Christmas. It was in like some kind of helicopter that was like rigged with explosives, and that was like the last time I saw Luke Cage in comics. Real bummer. But doubt that has anything to do with what we'll see Defenders, of course. But well,
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. They've definitely. When you bring Sigourney Weaver in. You're going to get good out of it.
It goes up 3 scales of epic.
It really does. It really does. That's, Marvel, we say a lot of great things about Marvel, and for a good reason.
Yep.
I'm sorry if people disagree with that. They make great movies. They make great TV. Agents of Shield. This season 4, which is just ending. Season 4, the finals next week, has been great this year. Have you seen any? I know you haven't followed Agents of Shield. Have you seen any of it this year? This season?
Not the current season, no.
Dude, do you know who was in it?
Yeah.
All right, who?
Agents of Shield. What? You mean the main guy from the agent from Avengers?
No, I don't mean that. I mean Ghost Rider.
Wait.
Ghost Rider.
Johnny's sick.
No, not Johnny Blaze.
Who is
Different
it then?
Ghost Rider. And it's not Danny either. It's the new one. It's the one that's been in the comics for the last couple of years. Who is not an official Spirit of Vengeance, but he is a Ghost Rider. There's a little bit of a difference. Anyways, it's been awesome.
Sick.
They've done it well. You did get to see the original Ghost Rider for a moment. That was pretty cool. That was when he got his powers, but it's not. It's kind of weird. And they don't explain it all the way, but it's pretty cool. This Ghost Rider has a charger instead of a motorcycle.
Sweet.
So he's got a big car. It's pretty badass. They've done it well. They definitely did a much better version of Ghost Rider than the two movies. Although Nicolas Cage played a decent Johnny Blaze, I'll give him that. But those movies just weren't very good.
No, no.
But the second one was trying to be more fun than anything. They kind of like, yeah, we're corny as hell, so here's a corny as hell movie, which was okay at that point. It was good. He's coming back for the season final next week. We're going to get Ghost Rider again. We haven't seen him for a while, but he was around for about the first half. Then they did a lot of the AMD storyline, which comes out of the Avengers and such. It's good stuff. Good stuff this season. Now, the big difference was that they moved the time slot from 8 to 9 or 9 to 10, whatever,
right.
Whatever time zone you're in.
10 Central.
Yeah, which is actually, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And then whatever they're doing on the West Coast, I think it's on sometime around breakfast or something. No, not funny. All right, whatever. But
you get nothing.
Nothing. I did get nothing. Absolutely nothing. But no, but the time change has allowed them to make a little bit more of a risky show. Having the later time slot, so a little bit edgier, telling stories a little bit more in depth with a little bit more of an edge. Good stuff.
Cool.
But not Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider in there, which was awesome. Season 1 had Deathlock. Are you a fan of Deathlock?
Not really.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
but
that was kind of cool. Season 2 and 3, I don't really remember any major characters. But they've been introducing a lot of the Inhumans. You've been getting some of the comic cast from that, and there's some new characters. But this last season has been great.
Awesome.
I recommend it. The biggest mistake Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did was they actually got an Avenger on the show, and they were around for like 2 seasons. Mockingbird was in there.
Oh, okay.
She was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was kind of cool, lended a little bit of legitimacy to it. And then they were going to make a spinoff for her and another character, and then the spinoff didn't get launched. But in order to do that, they then had to write them out of the show. So then they just don't have them.
That's awkward.
They did that last. Yeah, it is awkward. It sucks too. Because she was badass, and not to mention absolutely gorgeous and a good actress. I can't remember her name anymore, but because I haven't seen her since the middle of last season. But
this wasn't. I'm not. I don't know if I'm thinking the right character. It's not Chloe Bennett, was it?
I don't know.
Maybe. Anyway, go on.
But yeah, so it's been good. They were saying that maybe season 4 was going to be the end, but it's not. So they're gonna have ABC's gonna have that and the Inhumans. So
all right,
good stuff.
Nice.
Talking about Marvel though, look at that.
You got Spidey and Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's not Marvel.
One of them's Marvel.
But we got 2 other trailers. You know what? Wonder Woman's probably could jump in Spidey because I can nerd about that all day. Wonder Woman's been in theaters. I don't know if you had this one in your theater when you went to see Guardians, but the Wonder Woman trailer was pushed pretty immediately.
This new one, this final trailer.
Yeah,
I had not seen it.
Yeah. It kicks off with the the her history from that picture we saw
Mhm.
in Batman vs. Supes, the whole World War themes and everything else here. Uh, After seeing it, let me ask you: did that in any way? I mean, you already said you want it to be successful, of course, but
Yeah.
did this make you want to see it even more or not?
No. No,
Still didn't
not
draw
at
you.
this
Yeah,
point. It's not like it's not like the Justice League trailer and the first Spider-Man: Homecoming one to come out. It's not feeding my brain with. This definitely isn't really giving me much more. I mean, what I think the biggest reveal out of this trailer was one of the names, which I don't think is the actual name of the villain, Doctor Poison. Which
yeah,
that's yeah, all right. I don't. The villain in this is out of DC Comics. I don't remember. I don't know much about them. I don't know if that's the actual name or not. But no, I want to see this. I'm going to see this. Like I said, I'm either going to come out smiling or laughing. One or the other. I'm going to have a good time. Either watching a great movie or watching a train wreck. So, yeah, I'm ready. We're a couple weeks away now.
yeah. I feel the same way. It's either you get something solid here or you get an absolute train wreck. One thing Wonder Woman, at least in my opinion, has always suffered from a bit is on her own. And I could be wrong because I don't actively keep up with the comics, nor have I ever. But villains that you really want to get into. I mean, whenever I hear Wonder Woman, I think of what, Cheetah.
Oh, I
Pretty,
don't. I couldn't tell you a single one of her rogues gallery.
yeah. but that's about all. That or you know, um, to be honest, one of the most interesting villains I ever saw from Wonder Woman. Heck, I'd love to see this in live action sometime. Is one of the some of the rogue Amazons from the Mascara that just had a very different vision of Amazons and how they should function and what should and should not be allowed. I thought that was a really you saw this in the Justice League animated series a lot, and I actually thought that was a really cool clash with Diana's ideals, which she's always stood for, and I think they got something solid for a live action. They want to repeat it, so.
Yeah, I
But
don't know if they've built that up enough for me yet, but maybe with this movie they will.
yeah, so I'm
I think the World War One time frame is a great idea. Um, yeah, it looks good. Looking forward to it. But this trailer did nothing extra for me.
yeah, same here. Pretty much the same level I was pretty much sitting. It didn't take it down 3 pegs, and it didn't ratchet up 3 pegs for me either.
No,
Just kind
it's
of
not like
there.
that god awful Batman v Superman final trailer, which like here's the movie.
Here's the entire movie.
Jesus,
Which
I literally, and I had never felt that way coming away from a trailer before. It's like I don't want to see this anymore. That's
yeah,
literally what I felt
yeah.
like when I watched this. Like, all right,
Oh man.
there it is. That being said, I still saw it twice. I had to see it the second time because I couldn't believe it was so bad the first
Yeah.
time.
You're like, wait, I can't. Hey, real quick. When you did go see it the second time, did you see the extended cut version that got
No,
released
no,
on the?
no,
Okay.
no. I think they only released that on DVD. No, that did have a limited theater release. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. See, my second run, I didn't. My first was theater. Second, I got the extended cut, and I gotta admit, extended cut did expound better. It's a little
It's
more,
better.
yeah, a little more
It's
complete of a
better.
story, but the same trap, same thing it suffers from.
It's
So
still a smelly turd, though.
still suffers,
Yeah.
still suffers. But uh, I'll tell you what else I'm worried about ruining the movie, and I hope it doesn't. Right on Spidey. We talked about this a little bit before about how much of the plot may have already been revealed in trailers. I mean,
Yeah.
it's okay if you know the
They
villain,
doubled down on that with this new trailer
but
too.
but they did. They really did. And I'm already saying, look, we know this is going to be cool already. You don't have to let the cat out the bag too hard. Spidey was awesome in Civil War. So many people were looking forward to seeing it. I'm speaking for myself a bit too. I was already amped off of that, and I knew that this movie was going to be rolling right off the momentum of that. So that's fine. Heck, even if you kept us in the dark about as much as next Deadpool or something, I'd be cool. Totally cool. Just take just one or two of the humor scenes. That's really all you need.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because there's not a lot of genres or movies or trilogies or whatever you want to say that I will blindly follow.
Yeah.
And Marvel's one of them. Marvel is one of them. They not everything's been great. As time gets on, and we get closer to Thor Ragnarok. We'll obviously talk more about Thor 1 and 2, and Thor 2 is, in my opinion, the worst Marvel movie to come out. I've seen that thing 3 times, and I still couldn't tell you a damn thing about that movie. It is the most forgettable movie I've ever seen in my life. But it's we'll get into that. But it's. I'm not, I'm a little more apprehensive here just because it's Sony, and Sony. We've talked a little bit about this. They've been okay. They've definitely been hit or miss, but they've definitely been more miss as of late,
right?
With their comic book movies. So but I think Marvel has creative control in this situation. It's their universe, and Sony knows that they're playing in it. It's their guy.
Yeah, hits it on the head.
You're right, but it's Marvel's universe. So I think I'm going to be okay with it. I hope it's going to be really good. Yeah. I hope this launches exactly what they say it's going to launch. So I'm looking forward to it. But again, this trailer did nothing more for me either. I'm already amped up as high as I'm going to get for both of these.
Same. I know I can safely say, of course, for the fanboy Spidey I am, more so for Spider-Man than for Wonder Woman. The amount of Stark influence is going to be fun here too. It's interesting. Sometimes, a very prominent character will be like placed in another quote unquote origin film, even though we're not going there, to kind of help push things along or give you some kind of base of familiarity. But it's neat here, Spider-Man doesn't need that. It's a household name in terms of heroes. Tony Stark / Iron Man is more than carved out his page in the MCU. But Marvel's got something really cool here, and that is they can do this and have other characters kind of anchor or support without feeling that they're just there to sort of drag the weight. This is still towards Infinity War. That's what I love about all this. It's all a constant build, and none of that is really felt forced. And I think the moments of Stark are going to be funny. Obviously, there's some parts where he's going to, revoke some of the very things he's given Peter Parker and allow him to do. And for me, one of the most interesting things I'm going to find in this movie is seeing with the absence of those things. When he loses the gadgets, when he loses the Stark tech, what does he do with that? How does he solve his problems?
Well, you remember, even though that suit is giving him a lot of extra stuff and making him look pretty cool, he did make the web shooters himself.
True, and I'm so glad they kept that canon.
Yeah, he's still very much him. He's just very new. He's very green.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great. Hoping these movies are awesome. Yeah. So that's there's that.
That's what we got on movies. What about Nintendo though?
Nintendo. All right. I mean, if you guys thought if you thought I was done with Nintendo. No. But we each have something new that we found about Nintendo, but we're gonna hold off mine because yours sounds like it's gonna be a lot more fun. I'm gonna be genuinely pissed about mine.
Well, before you get a chance to take out your serrated knife, which is gonna happen in a second here, the thing I wanted to comment about here is more of a what I like to call a pricing issue here, and this is something that some fans have complained about potential for games. As a number of shows ago when we were first talking about the Switch and the debut and the release and everything, one thing we said was, hey, there's a lot of factors working against things here in terms of hardware. That's not going to be That's not going to be the main thing that pulls people in for the most part. It's the games. A lot of people are going to be looking at it. Nintendo's got a lot of great properties and everything else. So here it is. The game's the big selling point. The main thing Switch is going to push, and we've got this weird pricing issue, and this goes to our multi-platform concept. So many games that are released today, they come out on multiple systems. That's a pretty common thing. Nintendo did something extra awesome, and a lot of those games that were being built to be released on Switch, as well as other modern consoles, for some reason are just higher on the Switch than other places.
Like what?
Like about $10 or so.
So they're what, $80?
No, it's more. Well, some of the games are more like 30 or so. Like if something was to be priced at 30, Switch would do 40. If something else would be priced at like 50, Switch would do 60. Stuff like that.
Huh. Okay, so this is a trend though. We're seeing this because I know that ever since they came out with the Switch, they've come out with dozens of games now.
Yeah. While you do have that trend, in a way, the one thing that's funny about this is that Nintendo's sort of still in the middle line, kind of like reversing back and forth about that. That isn't hard in stone yet, as far as what they've given us one price rubric or whatnot. They're still flexing around on this, which is the weirdest thing. Specifically, I want to. There was a specific game that I had centered around this Rhyme. This is the one that's getting a lot of people's attention. So a lot of people were really worried because originally this was set at £40, and I'm sorry, I might need to get my currency right because I've had a long day too. I can screw up.
Well, you said £40, but I don't know. Do they know that you actually lived in England?
That's I need to give some context here. Yeah. So I'm so sorry for that.
How many? So what is a pound though?
A pound. I haven't looked at the current exchange, but a pound is close to double. It is not 2x a dollar, but it's heading that direction.
Okay.
So again, we're talking our normal range. But specifically with Rhyme, it was originally Rhymes. It was originally set for our normal price tag, about $70, £40 for a Switch game, compared to the release, which on an Xbox One, which is going to be a little lower. The UK prices I was seeing in my article were £30 compared to this Switch game at £40. But they decided to scale back and reduce the digital version and price that down to £30 instead of $40. So, this is tying into some of what you're going to hint at as well. Nintendo is hypersensitive about their properties, not only in terms of the optics on their releases and can our stuff be hacked. What's it gonna like if we let our game be played as a tournament game, Evo series and Smash Brothers and everything else? Our pricing. Well, we have to make sure that for some reason this is higher here, this is lower there. Just awkward. But every time there's a sharp adjustment. They don't get it necessarily pinned down on one issue. They kind of freewheel around these topics, and this is just a kind of weird wobble. I don't think I've really seen this from anyone else. I think pricing should be one of the simplest things ever. That's pretty established. We kind of know what modern games go for these days, especially on PS4 and Xbox One. Just stick with the line.
I would have to say that things are a bit more varied than they have been in the past. When we've gotten to the end of a generation life cycle of consoles, the prices are all over the place. You've got new games coming out for anywhere from 20 to, in some cases, 50 or 60.
Yeah.
We're starting, the current gen's been out for about 3-4 years now, so we're starting to see some variation. But you're telling me that Switch is coming out with the highest prices that these games have seen. So let me ask you a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
Are they getting exclusive content?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Are they... Okay, so wait, there was another one, but it doesn't bring a justification either. Are they coming out at the same time? So, is Switch releasing a game that came out a year ago for the other consoles, but they're now releasing their version because obviously the Switch wasn't around then?
In terms of date or trying to scale back something to win a console wasn't around or on the market or kind of accommodating its features. This really, instead of that, this really felt more along the lines of an argument of physical versus digital. I'm thinking that could be part of the reason for a lot of the flux in some of the flex, at least. I think Nintendo might still be in the woods about some of it. I will specifically about Rhyme. I'll recant part of what I was mentioning about no exclusive content. I know one of the issues for Rhyme, for example, was the digital version got lowered to the normal price. But they're saying, well, we can't quite mess with the physical version because instead we want to bundle that with the soundtrack, which is, £10 on its own when purchased separately. But it's just, I guess the idea being forced into those bundles if you just want the physical version as opposed to digital version. I mean, physical and digital should be normally pretty interchangeable. If there's some kind of bundle deal, that's optional. Um, so,
All right, all right. So, yeah, here's the thing. I'm going to just lay it down. Unless they're giving it exclusive content, this is stupid. And quite honestly, even with exclusive content for the Switch version, it should still be the same price because they have such a steep hill to climb.
yeah.
They're not even seen as contenders right now
No.
in the latest console wars, if you call them console wars or whatever you want to call them now. I mean, which I think would be understandable considering they came out years later. Why? This is so dumb. No, but are they doing this with their exclusive titles? Well, for example, like Zelda came out for both the Wii U and the Switch.
Right. I've not seen anything with like this about their mainline titles. No.
This is dumb. Whatever. This is.
Well, the thing you looked at's even dumber. I mean, it's almost like they don't want cash.
Oh, okay. So, all right. There's no reason to talk about the Switch anymore tonight. Yeah, so Ian. Yeah, no, I had to say tonight. There will be other reasons coming down the pike.
Yeah.
Ian, did you ever get your Nintendo Mini?
No, I'm gonna regret it.
Yes, you are. It's too bad.
Now,
now it's gone. It's done.
See, and I'm kind of nostalgic here because I found this the other weekend. I'm looking
Never.
I'm looking at my original Nintendo box here, like with the Duck Hunt gun and everything else to it.
You have Gyromite?
Was that? Wow.
That was the robot.
No, I didn't have that. I just had the gun.
My brother got that. That robot
sick.
Sucked. It sucked. It was neat. It was neat, but it sucked.
Man.
But whatever. It was an '80s robot, so it was gonna suck. But yeah. So yeah, the Nintendo Mini, the classic NES Classic, done. They're done with it. They stopped. In fact, this news is a little old, but we haven't had a chance to bitch about this yet. It definitely deserves an opportunity to do so. They're done. They announced in the middle of April, hey, we're going to be sending out our last shipments to Nintendo of America for distribution in stores, and then peace out, bitches. They actually said that, peace out, bitches. I'm sure you saw it in the news article that I gave you from Polygon on this. I was shocked. It's like, whoa, getting kind of mouthy there, Nintendo. But no, yeah, they're done, and they're not making them again. It's over. And it's ridiculous. Now, this is particularly stinging for me for a couple reasons. One, I really, really wanted to get my brother one. Now, he had the original NES. I was, we were all kids, and he really wanted, he doesn't say much about gifts for Christmas. Just like, whatever. I get him a gift card or something, or socks or something like that, or something with the Packers, because he loves the Packers, whatever. But he, at Thanksgiving, he's like, "Oh yeah, I really, really want that Nintendo Classic." Now, at the time, I was 1 month removed from having major surgery and nearly had lost my life. And that was at the beginning of a long road of recovery, which took generally 4 or 5 months. So I wasn't working, financially very tight. I couldn't get one of these things. I would have bought 5 of them the day they came out. Had I had the option. I could not. And so I'm a little pissed about that. It's like, hey, sorry for nearly dying and needing surgery. I couldn't take advantage of the 2 weeks that the Nintendo Mini was on the market.
Man.
So, but I would have gotten at least 2 of them. I probably legitimately would have gotten like 5 of them the day that they were released. So I've been sitting here. I've been working. I've been back to work for some months now, and just waiting. And we had heard that there was going to be a new shipment,
right?
A few weeks ago. Well, apparently that was the last shipment. It's done. They're gone. The Nintendo Mini is done. So you know what? There's a couple aspects to talk about this, but in my opinion, what I'm going to do is I'm going to emulate that son of a bitch.
There you go.
And I'm sure you can even get the little plastic cases that they came in.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to buy one of those. I'm going to make one, and they can. I was going to say something horrible, and then I'm like, no, that's too much. And I was going to say something else horrible. They can stuff it. Now I'm just going to rip them off. I'm
Nah.
going to rip you off, Nintendo. It's done. I'm going to rip you off because I can't buy it. I would have loved to have bought it.
You know, and this is the kind of thing you would not expect to spike to collector's item status this fast, but it's going to.
It came out in the U.S.
It's what I'm saying, man. It's like they don't want money.
Yeah. So again, yeah, they say that again in that article in Polygon. They give four fairly decent reasons as to why this probably happened.
Yeah, but
which is one of them. They say like, it just seems like Nintendo doesn't want to make money. Yeah, it really does. It really does.
And it's all with the string of, I don't even know if paranoid's the right term for it. Hypersensitive decisions that get made over their properties. I mean, I get it that they're so sensitive and protective about this stuff and looking at where they're branding, where they're selling, but it just reaches a fever pitch, and nothing but fan outrage ever seems to bring it back from the brink. I mean, at the very least, I'm glad they listened to people over Evo. They were all for banning Smash Brothers from viewing, and you can't do it because our property and it's this and that, and people are like, look, stop being ridiculous. We want to play this in a tournament.
Is that really
setting.
A thing?
I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you.
Christ.
It was the year Smash Brothers debuted. Nintendo they were extremely nervous about that, and for a long time they didn't want it to, and then they realized, oh wait, you mean people love this? So the following year, the president of Nintendo came out for both the U.S. branch and I believe the JP branch, and they shared the stage together and actually helped promote it, as they should have in the first place. It's like, Nintendo, you got something good people really want to play in a competitive setting. And look, a lot of hardcore people in the FGC, a lot of people really kind of skeptical about Smash Brothers making it into a mainline headliner Evo game. That was kind of far-fetched at one point, but just the sheer popularity of it, it's massive. It's been huge the last few years. The number of viewers turning in, it doesn't quite match like MVC, Marvel vs. Capcom, yet, but it is up there. It is.
I've played enough of Smash Brothers to know that one of the brilliant things about it is that it's one of those games where you can just pick it up and you can have some fun with it, but at the same time, you can master it.
Yep.
And whatever.
Maybe one day we'll get some clarity on some grand scheme or some kind of end game to all these decisions. Maybe they all connect. I don't know.
I can tell you right now. They're butthurt. They've been butthurt for decades. They've been butthurt since the 90s, and they're gonna continue to be butthurt, and they don't realize that they're hurting their franchise. Whatever. So yeah. Why do you think this happened? Do you have any theories as to why they're doing this with the NES Mini, which is the most anticipated thing that they've come out with in 10 years?
I'm taking that in. I'm actually just taking that in a moment.
Why they only released 3 beta versions in the U.S.
Well, the one thing that when I first heard about the wind of this cancellation, I was starting to think, is it really that much of a stocking issue or some kind of really twisted April Fool's joke? That's the first thing I look. But honestly, as far as just their production, the only thing I can think of is the attention that they want to focus on separate projects, that they want to maybe resources that they want to dedicate towards the Switch itself. And of course, I'm going outside of official statements, official bounds, or anything here. But I find it. I can't anywhere in my mind reconcile. It's just too much demand. We can't meet it, or we're going out of stock. If anything, you milk that.
It costs like 5 cents for them to make one of these damn things.
And the tech is so old, established, but it's still something so big.
I my watch.
Which
is where I'm going to be playing these damn games now.
I think some expect maybe that there's going to be some kind of maybe a reduced mini for the Switch or something else or something that develops that. My only logical, reasonable explanation that hasn't been said is they want to dedicate resources elsewhere. Plain and simple. I don't know. That's all I got.
Resources. They've got one 5-year-old kid with a screwdriver building these things. What resources? I'm seriously. I bet you their manufacturing team consists of like interns or like old retired Nintendo employees. These things, they're nothing.
No.
They're nothing. In 5 years, they're going to be making things like this in 8th grade woodshop class.
Oh man.
People want it because Nintendo came out with an awesome nostalgic product.
Yeah.
That's why, and because it was official. People have been able to do these things for like the last 20 years, but Nintendo came out with it, and that mattered. They're like, hey, this is, here you go. This is the best thing you never knew you wanted that was retro.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So you think because they wanted to put their resources elsewhere, because they wanted to take Frank and put him on a different project.
Yeah, dude, you got it. I'm telling you, you got to get Frank on that Switch Mini.
I think that, and maybe this is a little bit too conspiracy theory of me. I don't know, but I'm definitely not coming from the most unbiased point of view when it comes to this company. I think all along you had people in Nintendo that were afraid that the Mini was going to outshine the Switch, or maybe even the Wii U. And so I think they did limited releases like they did, because it wasn't just in the U.S. This thing was limited everywhere. This thing was in high demand everywhere.
Yep.
And I think they didn't release a lot of them. And then they have the Switch, and they come out with the Switch, and it's like, hey, see how much better the Switch is selling? Well, yeah, because you didn't have people fighting to the death for 20 of them.
It feels so forced from that push, to immediately bring up the figures for it. But look at where the Switch is at.
I seriously probably think that the plastic covering for the Nintendo Mini probably costs more than the chip that was inside of it. Molding for that probably in the painting probably costs more. This is stupid.
And I think this is where our vantage points intersect here. Ultimately, there's definitely some spill jam on the table pointing towards the Switch. There is a lot of forced promotion. I think regardless of what you're looking at financially, where things stand, they really, really, really want to prop the Switch up and make sure that the optics are on that.
Well, so now that brings me to the other point, because I do think at the end of the day this is all about money, which it should be. That they are a company, they're going to make money. I think the other reason is they probably looked at the anticipation and how much people wanted this and thought, well, why would we release this Mini for $60 when we can roll out these 30 games out on the Switch and we can sell them for $5 a piece?
Yep. I mean, the end of the day, it's simple profit, man. Simple math with what they'd be able to do and develop and cover whatever else that they need to break even from development, which I think they're more than fine doing from Switch. But even then, I think even when you put that in the equation, it's just another slap in the face.
It's them not understanding their market, because people like me, who we're not gonna be like, oh well, damn, they discontinued the Mini, so now I'm gonna go spend $300 on a Switch.
Yeah, no.
And then I'm gonna spend another 50, or no, not even 50, 80 to $90 as they roll out these games on the Switch, and then I can play them off of there. But It's all good because I can use a controller just like the original NES controller. I can use that on the Switch too. So that's okay, which I don't know if you actually can or not. You probably can. No, people wanted their nostalgia in a box.
Yep.
That's what they wanted. They don't want their nostalgia with some crap-ass hybrid console / portable thing that no one ever asked for, ever.
Ah,
Sorry,
oh
I'm an
man.
asshole. But you
No,
deserve
no,
it, Nintendo.
no.
You
It's
deserve every
this
bit of
is
it.
this is warranted. We're as we said in some of our previous editions, especially in shows talking about gaming specifically. We're this is from a time where we remember Nintendo really being top dog in so many arenas. You had original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, all kings of their respective genres, and that's darn right impressive.
And
Uh,
I have to disagree with you. Nintendo 64 wasn't the king of anything.
you didn't like 64?
It didn't beat the PlayStation.
No, it didn't. But even still, I mean, we're talking. I'm thinking of the jumps. I mean, especially we went from the 16-bit wars, and
Well, and
then
no, I didn't. I didn't like it. That controller for lefty, almost as bad as the one that came out after the GameCube, which I did own for a
yeah.
week until I felt like a frickin' handicap because I was left-handed and couldn't use the damn controller.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, the grip was awkward, but the
What?
reason
You
why
didn't come out with a controller for lefties?
no,
Guess which hand is holding up the middle finger for you, Nintendo?
this one, but
The left hand.
the I was about to make a comment about the controller and the grip they're in, but I think you covered that plenty. The one reason I think the 64 will always stand out as a king of its time is not as much that it failed against PlayStation. Of course, that's known. PS1 just absolutely rocked the house, and it was really finally we're fully on board with the advent of the disc era. At this point, that had really taken hold fully and taken off. For what they still managed to pull with cartridge, I see 64 as the twilight of that era. And
I would have to disagree with you.
That's fine.
I would have to say classic games show the true strength of that.
Which classic games?
I'll just take your pick from the NES and Super NES and just the classic games that we had from that. I understand what you're saying as far as raw power, but I think the true strength of the cartridge lies in what they were able to do with the less is more.
True, but you miss something. Twilight, as in the end of that era. Not necessarily as though it was the best, like it was better than the previous stuff, but this was really that's the dying light of that age. It really, I don't remember anything else from that time that was still that focused on that medium. And yeah, they did what they could with it. I'll never forget GoldenEye, all late night parties with that. Star Fox 64. There was some classics, but no, I concur. Earlier in life cycles and in earlier systems was where I think you saw the best stuff get produced and the best stuff come out there. So
I guarantee you, when they come out with the SNES Mini, I will be emulating that.
Right on. And SNES, one of my favorite days of gaming. Period.
And in fact, I'm going to emulate it. And I'm going to put it in a gutted out, emptied, hollowed Super NES console. And I'm going to put the chip in there.
I love your spite.
It's so... Jesus.
I love it.
It's so dumb. So dumb.
Well, what about you guys? You got salt about this whole thing? Are you okay with it? I don't know, maybe something in between to say about it. Hey, please leave a comment.
If you actually have an NES Mini, gloat.
Yeah,
gloat.
This is the time to do it. If you're rushing to go out and buy one, it's going to be at a premium markup. On Amazon, eBay, and other places. But yeah, hey, share what you got. Make a comment. Of course, give us a like, fave, subscribe, and you're welcome as always. Toss us an email at ksawmedia@gmail.com.
Hey, you're not wrapping up the show, are you?
I mean, we hit 58 minutes on the head.
Yeah, but dude, that 58 minutes. You only need 1 minute for your info.
That's a fact.
You forgot Ian's info minute.
It's that fast. I was about to leave a show without it.
You're down to 30 seconds. You better hurry.
58
minutes.
No,
you are not. I am not imitating a jingle.
No. I got. You know what? I'm going to coast this out for 5 more seconds. I'm going to be at 58:30 just to spite you. All right, now it'll start. In a minute. Quick fact of the day. This might be something fun for those of you that travel, especially if you've had a chance to visit France. This is something I completely overlooked. But every year, around the 10th of May, the sun sets just under the Arc de Triomphe on the Champs-Élysées in Paris. So if you're looking for some solid photography, some one of those stellar moments, or I don't know, maybe you just like to propose or get a really good magic hour shot, that's your time to do it. This actually goes back some time. This around the Arc and many of the other modern pieces we have. Paris, since 1923, there's a flame that's rekindled every evening at 6:30 by associations of war veterans, and it was actually the construction itself of the Arc was done so that specifically on a certain days on the 10th or the year at a horizontal axis when the sun would set, you'd be at a particular spot, so you'd see it go down right between that arc. I think that's cool. I think it's cool architecture. I think it's cool engineering. Way to go, France! And thanks for making some cool photo shots.
You lost me on that one. No, I caught back up at the end, but when you started saying all those fancy French names at the beginning, I'm like, what? What is this? Oh, Paris. Okay,
Paris.
All right.
It's the Champs-Élysées, Avenue. There's so much.
There he goes again.
So much history there. If you ever visit, I highly recommend. Hey, the Louvre. There's so much to see. But I just think it's pretty sweet that the Arc is right in the middle of all this. You don't want to climb all the way up to the Eiffel Tower or something else. You just want to go check out a cool piece of architecture. There you go. And try to go on the 10th of May. You do.
What's the name of it? Well, it's so... that was yesterday. That's kind of an asshole thing to say.
I know it is, right? even worse because
too bad you have to wait a year.
Yeah, and it's even worse because it's already the 12th there. But oh well. No.
It's beautiful, unforgettable, once in a lifetime thing that you'll see. Actually, you can go once a year, but you can't go for another year now.
To be fair,
it was yesterday, bitches. So
10th of May is the main one. I think on the other time to look out for it would be the 1st of August. I think that's another possible time for historical axis. But check it out.
How old is that?
The Arc itself, or how old is? Man, I'm actually not sure. I think it was, as far as I remember, the Arc was like the mid 1800s. I could be off on that though. Probably early 1800s. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, construction started August 15th, 1806.
See, it is amazing what they've been able to pull off as far as architecture, like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, then even thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
That is amazing. All right, people. Ian's info minute.
That's all we got.
I'm putting crickets in when I have the show right there.
Okay, thanks.
Crickets in there because you don't get a jingle until you bring one.
Ouch. Crickets till then? I can take it. I deserve it. I deserve it. Until I get my awesome jingle.
So
which takes time. You can't rush it. Man. Philistine.
Yeah. which brings us back to everything he was saying about emailing and commenting and liking and sharing and all that stuff. Please do. Next week, Alien Covenant comes out. We will be doing a show a little bit later. We'll be reviewing that.
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe I'll find something else to bitch about Nintendo. Maybe. What else is there?
If you concentrate your hate enough, I'm sure you can.
That's the thing. I don't have to. I really. It just does it. It's like, oh, yeah. How stupid was this? That's what does it. It compounds it every single time what they do. So I'm still looking forward to when they announce the new Mario game on PlayStation. That or I'm waiting for that, or when they announce a console that's going to be good.
Ooh.
Because I still would love that. We talked about that in the first two episodes. I'm still waiting for Nintendo to be like, all right, you know what? We were just playing with all that other shit over there with your hybrids and all that. Here's an awesome console that's going to crush them all. The console to crush them all. And then they'll release two of them. And
Nintendo.
one guy will set it up so that he'll have a Let's Play streaming on his YouTube channel constantly.
Hey, we've been waiting for Nintendo's re-entry for years. I would love to see it.
I don't think it's going to happen. I
No,
think they've given up on it.
but alas. All right,
All right. So that's it.
that's all we got, people. Hey, till next time. Again, thank you for tuning in, and you guys have a safe weekend.